Hello, hello. It's Friday night live stream time. Introductions. My name is Patrick. The channel name is Jack Crafty. Hey, Jordan. Hello. I've got over 2,000 videos. If you want to see something that I might have covered, just do a search for Jack Crafty and whatever it is you're looking for. Happy Friday. Yes. Tommy's here. Hello, hello. Um, Tonight is mainly just whatever topics you want to discuss, question and answer and stuff. We usually come around to Flintknapping and related subjects. Jesse's here. Happy Friday. Yeah, Friday's already here. I haven't made any videos other than live streams, right? I don't have any. Yeah, I did the auction and then 2 live streams, and that's it. And this is the third live stream. I haven't been napping. That's why. Yeah, I napped 1 point, but I sent that out. It was a side project. That's the only napping that I did, which is unusual for the week. But I've been working on arrows, and I worked on this one. It's in the thumbnail. I fletched it. It's a reed arrow. Let's see. Can't see. You can't see. It's got a wooden knock insert right there, and the fat part of the reed is up front. Now this is already going out to somebody. Okay. I got to make it look old. Yeah. It's for a display. So I'm sending that out soon. Hey, what did I miss? Ralph's here. Buckskin NYB is here. Hello, hello. Aaron is here. And the Bluesman 226. Good evening. Happy napping. Buckskin NYB. I received the items from the auction house yesterday. Thanks for the cool points. Oh, thank you for buying them. Thank you for participating in the auction and buying the points. Yeah. What else we got? Sticks and Stones is here. Hello, hello. Yeah, so ask your questions. Tonight's question and answer mainly. In case you're new, we got 11 people, which is pretty typical. We haven't even started yet, right? It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll get up to about 30 or 40 people, maybe. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Everybody knows each other pretty much, which is good. Yeah. It's good for us autists who like to deal only with our small little cliques. Yeah. Once in a while, we'll get a troll, but that's it. Once in a while. But they got bored of me because I say, that's it. That's all you got. Hit the like, folks, says Tommy Taylor. Mike Mason, hey. Jordan Kirkpatrick bought a drink at the gas station this morning, and guess how much my change was? I'm afraid to ask. 5.26. The magic numbers. 526. Nice. Actually, the magic number is 52.6 or 56.2. Doesn't matter. Mike Mason says, going to see some friends whose house burnt down recently. Y'all have fun tonight. Okay. So you stop by to say hi, and then you're going to go to see some friends whose house burnt down. Wow. Okay. That's not an easy thing to deal with. I can't even imagine if my house burned down. I'd be totally crushed emotionally. Buckskin says, I have been trying to nap Knife River flint, and as a beginner, it's tough rock to whittle down. Would heating it help? Yeah, try heating it. It does respond to heat treat, but don't heat it all. Experiment with it first. I would say maybe 350 degrees for 4 hours. You know, if you just pulled it out of the creek, I suggest drying it out for 24 hours at 225 degrees or maybe 200 degrees below the boiling point. Yeah, that'd be better. With porous stones, you can go up to 225 to dry them out because the steam comes out easily. But with Knife River Flint, I don't think it's that porous. So 200 degrees for 24 hours and then 350 degrees for 4 hours. And then ramp it down slowly as your first attempt. See how that naps. If it doesn't nap at that temperature, you can raise it. If it doesn't nap better, you can, next time you heat treat it, you can raise the temperature again. And it doesn't matter how many times you heat treat it, it doesn't hurt the rock. Doug Butterfield's here. Is Davis Creek open for digging? Somebody answer because I don't know. Oh, I updated the nap-in list. I got all the nap-ins here with the latest dates that I could find. So if you want to know where or if there's a nap-in somewhere where you live, just ask. I saw there's a nap-in now in California. Yeah. Let's see. Someone was asking not too long ago about California. It's Albion Field Station, Albion River nap-in in Albion, California, of all places. Let's see. Mike Mason says, I dealt with it before, pulled my mom out of it. They are all okay. Okay, good. Yeah. So you've dealt with the fires before. I have never dealt with a big fire like that. I can't even imagine. I've seen it, but I haven't dealt with it. And I haven't known anyone that's dealt with it personally with the house burning down and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's terrible. Very bad. All right, so what do we got? We got, I bet you someone sent me an email. Yep, sure enough. Yep. Okay. But it wasn't a long email. Good. Still a short one. Let's see. All right. So it's 8:01. We've finally kicked in. 8:01 p.m. Eastern. We're going until 10 p.m. unless everyone has to go home before then. Ralph says there's 3 nap-ins here in Michigan. Yeah. Let's see. I updated the nap-in list. Let's see if you can give me some additional information if I don't have it already on the nap-ins in Michigan. Let's see if I have all the 2025 dates. Frodo Joe, Frodo Joe. All right. I do have the Michigan Flint Knappers Fall Nap-In date, September 13th and 14th. I don't have the Michigan Flint Knapper Summer Nap-In date. Okay. In Ludington, Michigan. I need the summer date. It was in July last year. Okay. Let's see. The Robert Love Memorial Nap-In, April 26th through 27th in Stanton, Michigan. If you need to know information on these, look in the comment sections of my latest videos. I posted some updates there. Or you can ask me right now and I'll read off the information. Let's see. Aaron Wilson. Let's see. Do you recall any specific videos that you explain a little more in depth how you abrade your edge in preparation for your indirect percussion? No, not specifically because it's highly variable. There's no in-depth discussion on how to abrade for indirect percussion. There's just a basic rule. Abrade it, hit it. If it doesn't work, abrade it some more, hit it. If it doesn't work, abrade it even more, hit it, doesn't work. Keep escalating it and abrade it as much as it needs. It depends on the rocks. It depends on the particular piece of rock that you have. It depends on if it's heat treated or not. It depends on, some people say it depends if you've been soaking it in water for a long time or not. Because some guys say nap's better if you soak it in water for weeks and days, months. It depends on a lot of different things. You just have to abrade, hit. Didn't work that great. Abrade, hit. Now, if it takes off a big bite from the edge, you might have abraded it too much. Okay, so back off. You have to experiment. There's no in-depth explanation on abrading. You just have to experiment. There's no specific technique. That's a good question. And it's good to know that there is no specific technique for how much to abrade, what to look for, how the contour should look, where to abrade, where not to abrade. There's none of that in depth. It all has to be experimentation. Let's see. Bushy or Frodo Joe says, I'll be asleep before 10. Good night now, just in case. You're going to fall asleep during the live stream? Bill Hansen says, what do you think about Native Americans and their drawing of aliens? Seems like they had strong beliefs about encounters with them. Yeah, they have strong beliefs about spirits from the sky and stuff. It depends on the culture and the tribe, of course. So they would anthropomorphize. They would make certain concepts look human. So there was stories about humans coming from the sky, humans coming from the ocean, humans coming up from the earth, humans appearing as ghosts. I mean, so you're going to find stuff about uh, people from the sky. And then we interpret it nowadays as aliens. So my take on it is it's just part of anybody's culture, no matter what culture it is. There's always going to be stories about people from the sky, or gods from the sky, or spirits from the sky. And if you think about it, if these creatures are spiritual beings that are not from the earth, then what are they? They're aliens. Yeah. Jordan says, it's a task for me to stay up late or that late? Well, yeah. I'm starting to try to go to bed early, but whenever I do, I just end up doing research on the internet. So I have to wait until I'm tired before I can fall asleep. Yeah. It usually happens right around midnight. Yeah. I'm too tired to stay awake. Are we still live? Yeah, we're still live. We're still on air too. How do I know? I don't know. See right there? I don't know. Let's see. Killer Cork, hello. Killer Cork's in the house. David DiLorenzo's here. I wonder what they thought of shooting stars, Native Americans. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I have a collection of Native American myths and stories. And there's hundreds of them that still survive. I'm trying to think of what they thought of shooting stars. If it's in the literature somewhere. It probably is. I just can't remember. And keep in mind, though, that each culture and each tribe has probably a different interpretation. Yeah. And most of them are, I don't know. That's just a cool little thing. See that thing that zipped by? Are we being attacked? No, it's too far away, it looks like. Maybe we should prepare for incoming flame arrows. Incoming. Hey, look at them all. That happens every night, dude. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Alan Cole, what's up? Ralph says, you're a night owl, Patrick. Yeah, I know. I got nothing to get up for in the morning anymore. I can get up whenever I want. Yeah. So I usually just wait until I'm tired to go to sleep, to go to bed. What do you call a kid born in a brothel? A brothel sprout. Brian Olson's here. Brian Olson in the house. Who did I get? I got a package from Alan Cole yesterday or today. Is Alan in the house? I need to open it on video. I'm going to do a unboxing of Alan Cole's package that he sent me. Probably tomorrow, because there's no way I'm doing any videos tonight. Russ Wellman, Are there any Michigan Flintknappers Association members in the chat tonight? That's a good question. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know because I need to get the summer nap-in schedule or time and location for the Michigan Flintnappers summer nap-in in Ludington, Michigan. Okay? I need to write it down so I can have it and update everybody. Alan Cole is here. Word on the street is Mount Spur near Anchorage may erupt soon. I got your package. Yeah, I'll open it, but it's in the shop. Yeah. Too late to open it here on the live stream. Yeah. I will open it tomorrow. Ferdo Joe says, no blonde jokes. My wife is a blondie. Okay, let's hear them. They're not jokes. They are real life stories. Yeah, but none of them pertain to your wife, right? Got to make sure. Yeah, got to put that little stipulation in there because, man, you'll be in big trouble. Brian asks, is it obsidian, Alan? You know it. I'm guessing yes. Alan says there's extra goodies in it. Jesse says, guy says to a girl, hey, I bet you never met a guy with 3 knees. I have a left knee, a right knee, and a wee knee. That is safe enough for families, right? That's family friendly. Ferdo Joe's got a question mark. What is it? Why are you marking your own comment? Bill Taylor's here. Hey guys, just made it. I hope everyone's doing well. Hello, Patrick. Hello. And in case you're new, my name is Patrick, not Jack. Yeah. But you can call me Jack because, I'll let it slide. I'll give you some slack. Call me Jack. All right, 29 people are here, and the like button has not been pushed very much. Yeah. Let me see. What else is here? Yeah, if anyone's here from the Michigan Flintnappers, what is it? Association? Are you guys an association, you Michigan guys? Yeah, I just need the summer napping. Yeah. It's supposed to be at Ludington State Park. Let's see. Ralph says, I'm not a member of the Michigan Flintnappers yet, but I plan to be. Ross Wellman. I see. Jordan says, send the dogs. Yeah, I'll send the dogs to come get you if you haven't hit the like button. I'll let the dogs out. Brian says, I don't know how to like it on my phone. Only the TV. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll cut you some slack. Yeah. 7. What does the 7 mean, Bushy? Jim Main. Hey, Jim Main's in the house. Tommy Taylor says, Keith, turn the hounds loose. Yeah. Kidder Cork says, hey, Ralph, Alan, Jesse. Yeah. Everybody say hi. Everybody say hi. Bill, I can only like on the TV too, not my phone. But I can only comment with my phone. Why is it that you can't like with your phone? That's weird. Brutus is here. Greetings. I see I ain't too late. No, you're not too late. Jeff Jin's here. Hello. Bill Hansen. Anyone going to Flint Ridge Nap-In? Smallzilla's here. Harley's in the house. Happy Friday. Made it. Yep, made it. Smallzilla's got 3D stuff, 3D printed stuff. And I got your box ready to show some of the goodies again soon. Yeah. Jesse, $10 donated with a super chat. Thank you very much. Awesome. You regularly do that. I appreciate that very much. Jesse's a regular contributor and supporter of the channel. Yes. Bill Taylor says there's no like button on my phone either. Brutus says, I am on PC, so yeah, got my like. Yeah, there you go. All the likes went up. It doubled in like 1 minute. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, Jesse's a legend for sure. Tommy Taylor says the phone should have a thumbs up or down. Click on that. Yeah. Jim Main says close the chat and you can see the like button. Ah, okay. If you close the chat thing. I see. Smallzilla. Smallzilla's name is Harley, by the way. Oh boy, excited to see it. And woo, you the man, Jesse. Gas money. Van sucks the juice down. Oh yes, but right now I've got to get a new part for the van. It's not sucking down any gasoline lately because it does. All the water leaked out, or the coolant. I got to get a new part, and it's not cheap. So yeah, van money. Aaron says, would you be interested in a gift of some Nevada jasper? Going out to collect some as soon as the weather permits. Yes. Yeah, Nevada jasper would be okay. I don't think I've ever napped Nevada jasper. Ralph says, Mike Tufts will probably go to Flint Ridge Knapping. I think it's Ohio, right? Let me see. Ohio. Let me see what I got. Now that it's fresh in my mind. There's a bunch of Knappings in Ohio. If you want to know, I got the list. Okay. Flint Ridge is May 23rd through 25th this year. Okay. May 23rd, 24, and 25. It's in Coshocton, Ohio. Yeah. Coshocton County Fairgrounds, 724 South 7th Street. And if you have a Knapping that you are going to attend that maybe it's not well known, let me know. Put the information in the comment section here. Let's see. Mike Tuff says, okay. Bill says, there was a like button on Jesse's contribution and I hit it. Oh, nice. Brian says, thanks, found the like button. Awesome. So yeah, I didn't realize that some of you guys can't see the like buttons and stuff. Very interesting. Smallzilla says, was making some stir fry this evening for dinner and had a question for you, Patrick. I remember your mostly meat diet. Yeah. And I was curious if you ever break things up occasionally with any vegetables. Yeah. I do break up the diet with some vegetables. At least once a month. I like coleslaw and it's pretty safe. So I'll have some coleslaw once a month. Now there's vegetable stuff mixed in with some of the stuff I eat, like sausages once in a while. I'll have like sausages once a week. There's some, vegetables in that. There's fillers and probably some onions and stuff. The only vegetables I eat on purpose are cabbage, like in coleslaw, carrots, iceberg lettuce, or any kind of lettuce, basically. I'll eat that on purpose. Onions. That's about it. Onions, cabbage, lettuce. That's about it. Yeah. Why do I not eat too many plants? And why do I eat meat mainly? It's because of something called an elimination diet strategy. If it makes me feel sick, I don't eat it. So I have allergies to plants. And almost any kind of plant that I eat gives me a bad reaction in some way. Either it makes me tired. Sometimes I get an allergic reaction like a stuffy head, sore throat, like a regular allergy reaction, and inflammation. Sometimes if I eat when I'm not supposed to, the next day my hands are swollen, my feet are swollen, I get swelling. So anything that does anything like that, when I eat it, I eliminate it. And I've eliminated everything. And all I'm left with is maybe 3 different vegetables, fish, meats, and water. And I can drink diluted coffee. Yeah, I've been trying that. But even that gives me a reaction. Yeah. Any kind of plant. I do season my food with pepper, but not too much, black pepper. And once in a while, I'll throw in some other spices like paprika and stuff like that. But I can tell that I get a reaction to that too. And I get a reaction to mustard and ketchup. Anything with sugar starts my head spinning and I start gaining weight. Anyway, it's elimination. Tommy Taylor, $10. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What did I miss on the chat? Uh, let's see. But yeah, I try not to mix it up. To answer your question, Harley, I try to stay strictly on a meat only diet, and I do take supplements because the meat you get today in the supermarket it doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it because of the cheap stuff they feed the livestock. So I take potassium, magnesium, vitamin C. Uh, Lately, I've been taking those omega 3 capsules. The fish oil stuff. What else do I take? Vitamin K2, vitamin D. All this stuff that meat's supposed to have in it, but the quality of meat these days is pretty poor unless you get grass-fed beef or what do they call free range chicken eggs. So yeah, eggs, meat, and once in a while I'll have some cheese, but cheese messes with me. Dairy messes with me. Anyway, yeah, coleslaw is made with different kinds of sauce. Yeah. So I don't have it very often. It's usually just made with mayonnaise, right? And sometimes they add mustard in it. So I don't have it very often because I get a reaction to it. Anyway, Alan says avocado is my meat-based diet and fermented veggies. Really? Hmm. Yeah, I mean I like fermented veggies and avocado, but it doesn't agree with me all that well. Let's see. Yeah, you're the man, Tommy. Bill says, way to go, Tommy. Pat needs all the help he can get. Rock is expensive. Oh, yeah, it's getting very expensive. Smallzilla says, some good diet info. Thanks, Patrick. Been removing certain things from my diet I deem to be frivolous. A lot more meat for breakfast and lunch, too. I am a lot less hungry throughout the day. Yeah, the less you eat sugar, the less hungry you'll be. And as you get older, I experience this. Uh, Instead of thirst, I would feel hungry. Being a sugar eater and being a bread and potatoes guy, I couldn't tell if I was hungry or thirsty. It just felt like I was constantly hungry and never thirsty. So I would be dehydrated most of the time as well. But when you go on to a zero carbohydrate diet, you can tell whether you're hungry or thirsty. That's what I found out personally. Scott Lauer's here. Hey, Michigan Flintknappers Association has a website. You want to get hooked up. Yeah, they do have a website, but they don't keep it fully updated at all times. But it's a good website, yes. Frodo Joe says, Ross is here. Yes, he is. Good church in Michigan. Let's see. Ralph says, bopper that like button. Yeah. Bopper it. Let's see. I was thinking about some funny stuff today, but it was mainly had to do with the kids. I don't remember jokes or nothing. I can look up jokes all day on the internet, but when it comes time to repeat them, I don't know. Jesse says, I finally realized after watching a million crazy or crafty vids, same thing. When I finally get thinner, I realized a braiding isn't enough. Rebevel, edge a little bit thicker, and then a braid. Thanks for all the great videos. You're welcome. Yeah, you can rebevel or regularize or do both. Yeah. Smallzilla says, had a fun Hypothetical come up with friends. Which ancient civilizations do you think would most enjoy monster trucks? The idea made me grin. I don't know. Mm, I don't research the cultures all that much. I'm into material culture. Yeah, that's the kind of culture that I research. I don't research, you know, how do you say, societal societal culture. Red-eyed patriots here. Yay! What knowest thou, my brethren? Alan says, in grocery shopping, I'll post more in a few. Oh, you're grocery shopping. Okay, never mind. Tommy says, hey, Scott. Fertile Joe says, Pat, are you the only napper in Vermont? Apparently so. Although there's a guy down the street that someone told me that he used to flint nap. He's really old, and he's just down like five houses down from me. They said, yeah, this he used to flint nap obsidian. Really? I walk by his house all the time. I never see him outside. I used to see him sitting on the steps when I first started visiting up here, but I don't see him anymore. He's getting kind of old. So I can't say that I'm the only one. I know I'm not because I did send some stuff to another flint napper in Vermont recently or within the past year. So I'm one of the only ones. Yeah, we can probably count ourselves on one hand. Jesse says the Mayans would roll the loser monster truck off the pyramid. Yeah, after ripping out the guts from the engine, they just throw the monster truck down the pyramid. Yeah. Scott Lauer says, Pat, could you do a vid of making a blade from a tab with the reduction from one face? I'm needing to do it, and I'm really struggling with the reduction from one face. What does that mean from one face? Mhm. And I'm assuming you're saying making a blade from a tabular piece of flint or chert and not a flake, right? Or a spall. It's a tabular piece that's thin. And what are you struggling with? The defects on the cortex, a concrete center, breaking it in half. What are you struggling with specifically? So just so I can remember, the more details I have, that believe it or not, the easier it is for me to remember to do a video of it. Let's see, Red-eyed Patriot or Michael, Mayans and Azteca in a Bigfoot truck. That'd make a great movie. I was just doing some research on Aztec bows today. Smallzilla says, my buddy and I thought Vikings, Romans, and the Aztecs would love monster trucks. The Romans, especially with their Colosseum. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, the Romans are a good bet because they were entertained by all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the more intense and gruesome it was, the better for the entertainment. Yeah. I'm trying to think if they were. So they used to also flood the Colosseum with water and do ship battles. And I'm trying to think if they ever did battles with fire in the Colosseum. I don't remember hearing about that though. Brutus, I don't struggle breaking points. I do it quite well, thanks. Yeah. It's really easy to break points. Yeah. What's funny though is after you get experience, you have a hard time keeping the points thick because there's always a little bit lumpy. So it doesn't matter how nice the flaking is. If there's a lump and it's thick, you want to remove that lump, and it just gets thinner every time you do that. And sure enough, since no surface is perfect, there's always a lump that you can try to remove, and it gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and it's hard to keep it thick. Alan Cole says, "What's in the box?" What box? Ragnar Big Truck See, yeah, I don't know enough about all these cultures like Vikings and the Aztecs. I don't really know about the societal culture and customs. I just know about the material culture. Yeah. Hmm. Now, I was doing some research on Aztec bows, and they're pretty simple. Yeah. Not only have the traditions carried on to the present day, and they're just simple, straight, flat. The simple flat bows that are straight when they're unstrung, but in the illustrations, the codexes, and the accounts by the Spanish, they were just simple D bows. When you look at them, not D cross section bows, they were flat bows. But when you look at how when they were drawing them back, it just makes a perfect D, perfect arc. Vikings doing raids in a monster truck. Alan Cole said, "What's in the box? Inquiring minds want to know. Just tell me what box you're talking about." The only thing in this box is a light bulb and some plastic to tone down the brightness. Scott Lauer says, "Reduction from one side and only skimming the other side at the finish. I need to capture the cortical material on one side of the blade, but remove the cortex." Okay, so I think I can show that. Yeah. Now, the reason why you're struggling is because everybody will be struggling with that particular task. What you have to do is come up with a strategy in a way to do the final skinning while you're still relatively thick, just in case the cortex has defects. Okay. My recommendation is to do the cortical side first. And if that works out, then you can nap the other side down thin. So do the cortical side first. That'd be my first suggestion. Mhm. Is there a box behind me? Just this box here. That's not. I don't know about any other box. There's a pig there. Yep. The box you sent is in my shop. It's not here in the house, Alan. I can't wait for tomorrow. Let's see. I mean, you can make a movie of that monster truck back in ancient days. Yeah. Today, right now, you can just ask AI to come up with a scene of a monster truck during an Aztec sacrifice or during a Colosseum event or during a Viking ceremony. AI can generate it for you nowadays just by asking. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what it can do. I'm told that Grok can now do that, and I'm paying it. Every so often, the price for the premium subscription to X Twitter goes up, and I say, "Yeah, I'll pay, sure," because I use Grok all the time, so I can argue with it, and it will generate AI images, and I think it is now generating AI videos or short clips. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, who's someone is seeing things. I mean, I know you can see the pig. Fertile Joe says that pick behind Patrick just moved. I'm not falling for any of that stuff. Yeah. Scott Lauer says you'll try that. Yeah. I would suggest do the cortical side first and see if you can capture it and remove any bad spots. And you'll have some remaining. And then the other side will be much easier to nap down by comparison. Okay, so that's what I think. I have something that I can do that with. So I'll nap a tabular chert or tabular flint chert. so to capture some of the cortex. Start with cortical side first. That's what I would do. And I'll demonstrate it on video. Yeah. See, the important thing is get what you want on the point from the beginning. Because if you try to do it at the end, it's twice as hard because you're dealing with something thin and your options are quite narrow and limited toward the end. Richard Nunley is here. Hello. Awesome. You made it. Grok loses. How do I know? I don't know. Loses the argument, right? Well, no, Grok's getting better. I just hope they don't dumb it down again. The pig is spooky. Just let me know if the pig starts moving. Brian Olson, I was almost done with a 18-inch obsidian blade when it jumped out of the truck when I opened the door last week and broke it in half. Now you've got two 9-inch blades. If it broke exactly in half. Yeah. But that's what you get for wanting to make these big blades. Yeah. That's what you get. But they're so awesome, huh? Yeah. They're so awesome they break really easy. That's how awesome they are. Yeah, I'd be lucky to have two 9-inch blades in 1 week. Red Eyed Patriot says, Patrick, we need that on a shirt. Which expression? I have too many. Which one do we need on your shirt? Alan Cole might write that down, take some notes. I think he's able to make shirts. Anyways, maybe I should write some of this down too. What did I say? I need to write down what I say. I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah. Dropping these stone items, you would think that they'd hold together better, or obsidian, whatever. You'd think they would, hold together a little bit better, but no. That must have been a common thing back in the day. There must have been an expression for breaking rocks by accident. Voila is one of the expressions. Yeah, voila. Instead of ta-da. Ferdo Joe says, I took a pic of a knife once and went to pick it up and bang, I did the same. Yeah, I've broken points taking pictures of them. That's the worst. Brian says, maybe I could stretch a flat rate box and send bigger bifaces. Yeah. Alan says, another month and I'll make a trip for big obsidian. Ground should firm up for vehicles. Yep. Do they? Let's see. The question for you guys is there more than one nap-in at Glass Buttes? Or is it only once a year? Inquiring minds need to know. Yeah, everyone says hi. Hey, Bren's here. Now we got the full crew. It's 8:37. Man, we got a long time to go. We got a lot of time left. Let's see. We got a lot of people watching, relatively speaking. One official nap-in in March, one unofficial in September. I'm assuming this is for Glass Buttes. So let me write that down. Let's see. Oregon. Where are you? There's an unofficial one in September. Okay, so I'm going to write down the word September with a question mark and see if I can get that one. If I can get that one when it comes up, I'll post it. Where's my pencil? I have to forget the pencil. September with a question mark. Right? You said September? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just taking notes. Just taking notes. No worries. It didn't go silent all of a sudden because we're disconnected. What? We're disconnected? No. Jimmy Potts is here once a year at Glass Buttes. Yeah, that's what I've got. But there, Alan says, I think he says there's a unofficial one in September. End of September. Okay, that's good to know. Tommy Taylor says, Danny, you get all your muscadines in and planted yet? Ralph says, hello, Danny. Yeah. And Brennan, Red-Eyed Patriot, you enjoy your Tennessee trip, Danny. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on in Tennessee as far as knappings go. Killer Cork says, I read the other day that there was recently a monumental find in a West Texas cave, a hunting kit that may be the oldest intact weapon system in North America. They found in a folded animal hide within the hide. I don't know if they found it within the hide. The way I interpreted the find was that it was in the cave. There's a bunch of foreshafts, which they call sticks, whatever, and there's a part of a spear or an atlatl dart, and the hide. Now the hide is just a hide with no perforations, no markings. The hair's still on it, so I don't think that these foreshafts were wrapped in the hide. Also, there's a half of a archaic point. This find's supposed to be 6,000 years old and is still very well preserved. 6,000 years old. That's a long, long time. Anyway, there's a half of a metal dart point from the archaic period by itself, and there's also a hafted archaic point that has a broken tip, but the stem is still attached to the foreshaft. And there's a lot of foreshafts. There's at least a dozen foreshafts of different sizes and shapes, lengths also. Some of them are very much like each other. Some of them are quite different from each other. And all of them are damaged in some way. So they look like discards. Okay? They don't look like something that's part of a kit. That looks like the hunting party went in there. There's also some human waste, which means they pooped in the cave. So what it looks like to me is a hunting party went in there. They didn't build a fire because they didn't say anything about a hearth or anything. They replaced their foreshafts on their metal darts and then took a crap and left. So that's what it looks like to me. And of course, they left the hide there. I don't know why they would do that, but they might have left other things that had decomposed as well. They could have left, scraps of bones and meat from a kill or whatever. But it just looks like a temporary shelter for a hunting party. And they just left behind their trash, which in this case was just a bunch of used up atlatl dart foreshafts. Let's see. Brutus is here. Half the age of Gobekli Tepe. I can't pronounce it. Gobekli Tepe at 12,000-ish years. Yeah. Brennan says, refined gear and that's leftovers. Makes sense. Danny Collins is here. Hey, Danny. Let's see. Red-Eyed Patriot had a great time. I think I'm going back at the end of the month to collect Horse Creek at a friend's property. Yeah, do it. Buzz is here. Yeah, somebody wiped their butt with the hide, maybe. Or maybe it was just getting too stinky. If you have equipment that's starting to get rotten and you're out hunting, you don't want that smell to get out there and give yourselves away. I don't know what else would cause me to discard a hide, other than it started to smell pretty bad. Aaron says, do you use Delrin for your mallet? No, I use Ultra high molecular weight plastic. It's different than Delrin. It's not as flexible. So, Aaron, if you want to know the specifics, I'll send you a link to where I get it. I can't do it here because I think it's going to mess up the live stream if I try to post it. Let me see. Let me see if I can access. This will take me a while to do that. But yeah, it'll take me like 10 minutes of quiet time or 5 minutes, whatever it is. And it'll be too long of a stretch of no talking in order for me to get that posted. But remind me, and I'll give you the link to where I buy my plastic for the mallets. Let's see. Creek chert. Yes, please. Yeah, creek chert is good. Free chert from the creek is the best. Let's see. We have some people that left the chat. Who left? There was like 44 people and like now there's 38. So half a dozen people just went, I don't know. He's not napping and there's no big gigantic blades anywhere. I'm leaving. See ya. See you laters. Sorry. Not sorry. Yeah, don't let the revolving door hit you on the way out. The revolving chat door. You didn't even chat. And they left. It's not like, oh, he didn't answer my question, so I'm leaving. No, they didn't even ask a question. Now, can I use Delrin for the mallet? Yeah, you can use Delrin for the mallet. I mean, no one says you can't. I've seen people use all kinds of stuff for the mallet. A lot of people insist on using wood and say, no, I'm using it no matter what. I don't care what you say. I'm using wood. I'm using wood because wood is good. Good wood. Yeah, it rhymes. So it's a rule. Yeah. So I can't argue with those people because that's what they do. But you can use anything for the mallet. What I use is high molecular weight plastic, ultra high, UHMW plastic. It's a thing. Ralph says, how does Horse Creek chert nap? It naps a lot like chert. Yeah. And it heats up really well. So it naps really good heat treated too. Yeah. Now, are you going to have an easy time napping it, Ralph? I have no idea because I don't know your exact skill level. Even advanced nappers have trouble with Horse Creek chert and Buffalo River chert and similar types of chert because of the steppiness. Tommy Taylor says, it was 47 at one time, most that I've seen. Yeah, there was a lot of people that all suddenly, a bunch of people dropped in and they left. They go, oh, this is not what I thought. Yeah, I thought he was going to talk about baseball or something, so I left. Who knows what they thought it was? Yeah. Because I don't include the word Flintknapping in the live stream title. Maybe I should. But we don't talk about Flintknapping hardly. It's usually about other related stuff. Like cave finds. What did they find in the cave, man? Oh, they found a lot of poop and animal hide and a bunch of sticks. Isn't that cool? Because the Indians did it. The Indians made all that. Yeah. It is cool that the Indians made it, but the videos that are on that topic are so silly because they're like kindergarten level explanations of what's in the cave. Yeah. We're back up to 42 people watching. Ken Winton's here. Bummer, man. I got to go. Promise not to tell Uncle Ken. All right. I won't tell. Nobody tell on Ken. Yeah. He can't stay. But don't feel too bad. There was someone else. I forget who it was already. Couldn't stay. Yeah. He had to help some people that had just got their house burnt down. Some people are listening while they're driving. Tommy Taylor says, Keith, I summoned your hounds. Turn them loose. Yeah. We shouldn't have less likes than the amount of people watching. Unless you don't have the ability to hit the like button. We just learned earlier that there's like a glitch with YouTube. You can't find the like button if you're on your phone or whatever. That's a bad thing. YouTube's got to work on that. Brian says, Pat, did you have an arrow in the intro? Yeah, I did. See, I made this arrow shaft for one of my subscribers. I won't tell you because I need to protect the innocent. But it's a reed arrow out of reed that actually works for arrows. It's Phragmites reed with a thick wall. Okay, thick wall. There's sinew wrapped at the top. He already has 4 shafts for this particular arrow shaft. Okay, he's got 3 4 shafts that'll fit in there. They all fit in there. And then I just fletched it yesterday and today, and I put in a wooden knock instead of carving the knock straight into the reed. So it's a plug. It's a wooden plug that goes into the back of the reed, and then you have to sand this down the joint to constrict it right there because they use the pinch grip. Okay, they use the pinch grip on these kinds of arrows, and these are Reeves pheasant feathers. I like the Reeves pheasant feathers because they're a little bit nicer than the regular ringneck pheasant feathers. The Reeves pheasant feathers are more of a brownish and goldish tint. And then I painted 3 little black lines on there, and it's all wrapped with sinew. There's no glue in between. The feathers are not attached in the middle. See, they're not attached. I just need to make it look old because he's using it for display. So what I normally do is I mix a little bit of mineral oil or something with pigment, and then just dab it on here and there and stuff. I'll find a way to make it look darker, and I'll mess up the feathers a little bit, not too much. Let's see. Brutus says, I understand that part of the dire wolves, Romulus and Remus, were genetically created. Nice. 200-pound wolves. Do the saber tooth next. Yeah, what happened was they just replaced part of their DNA sequence with the dire wolf sequence. Okay. And they're not full dire wolves. They're hybrids, but they exhibit supposedly dire wolf traits that matter. They just spliced part of the genome into the gray wolf genome. So they're gray dire wolves. Yeah, they're not full dire wolves. They're not full dire wolves. Yeah. Fertile Joe says, there's a rock ledge near me. An old lady told me 50 years ago she found arrowheads there in it. Someday I'll look there. Yeah, go look if she'll let you before she moves or passes away. But an old lady told me 50 years ago. Oh, well, she's probably talking about when she was a kid. Yeah, okay. Sean Dalgetty's in the house. I had to pause it to get some ice cream. You still eat ice cream? I'm saying that because, I don't recommend sugar for old guys like us. Jesse says, got 60s Pyrex dish from the thrift store. Made some beautiful points. Looks like white stone. Awesome. Yeah. If you get a good quality one, it's awesome. With the Pyrex stuff. Pyrex dish. Let's see. Keith made it to the show. Yes, he did. Killer Cork says, watched the last video from Danny. Looked like a fun trip. Nice size load he picked up. Horse Creek shirt. I'm getting that for show. Yeah, get some. Let's see. Jesse says, clicking the like button, it says 0. Won't let me like it still. What the hell, YouTube? Yeah. What the heck? Alan says, I like the macaw feathers. Yeah, I got the macaw feathers. Did I showed them on video, right? I got them sitting there ready to do something with them. Well, I know what. I can put them on a small Central American type arrow. Yeah, I think I've seen a Central American type arrow with some yellow macaw feathers. Let's see, as an artifact. Brennan says I had some purple in it and napped nice. Some people dislike it. Hmm. Some purple in the Pyrex glass or the Pyrex dish. Yeah, Alan says 0.001% dire wolf, technically speaking. Yeah, it's a hybrid. It's a gray wolf with dire wolf genetics implanted in to their sequence. Killer Cork says, Patrick, I have to go back and check out some of your how-to arrow making videos. I'm sure you probably have some. Yes, I do. Been wanting to make some. Very cool and seems fun. Yeah, it's very cool, but fun? I don't know. You're going to have, uh, you might need some tissues for the issues with the arrows. Yeah, especially when straightening. I've had many requests. Can you straighten the arrows for me? Because they keep breaking, especially the stupid reed arrows. I can't stand it. And I'll send reeds out unstraightened, and they go, "You didn't straighten them. Now I can't do nothing with it. I don't know how to do it. It won't do it." Yeah, the hard part about natural shoots is straightening. But I'm not going to straighten them for you. No, I'm not. I don't care how much you beg and how much tissues you need for your issues. And I'll make you a little crybaby sandwich, but I won't straighten the arrows for you. No. Macaw feathers from the veterinarian hospital. That's a good place to get them. Yeah. Hmm. So I have arrow making videos on river cane arrows, but I wasn't using river cane. I found out I was using bamboo, but I kept the name river cane on there because I don't know. I should go back and change that to. I just don't know what type of bamboo it is, but it looks like bamboo and not river cane. People tell me that's not river cane. Those shafts are too perfect. They're not river cane. And the fact you got them in Florida means you probably got an invasive species. Invasives. Okay, yeah, you're right. You cheated. You cheat on the arrows and not supposed to. Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to. All right. Let's see. Someone will stock up on the tissues. Yeah, if you start making arrows and start straightening them yourself, you're gonna have to stock up on the Kleenex. Yep. Brian says arrows take like for freaking ever to make. I make lots of cutting feathers. I make lots cutting feathers. It's no fun. Yeah, the feathers are not that bad. I've got a system for how I shaped all the feathers. What is it? I wing it and make doo doo with what I got. They're not all the same size, so I just go. I don't know, scissor, make doo doo with what I got. That's it. My personal pet, Ralph. His name is Benjamin. What are we talking about now? Ralph says, sounds like the arrow straightening help desk. Yeah, we need the arrow straightening help desk for sure. Yeah, crybaby sandwich. Yeah, too funny. Yeah, people ask me all kinds of stuff after they've been for a while, and I'd like to help them. The most I can do is make you a little sandwich. Brian says, "What is it? What are you talking about? You guys are talking code in the chat." Yeah, I don't know. So I'm making arrows. I just straightened a bunch of stuff today just to see if it was straightened. Different types of wood. I think there's 3 different types of wood in here. And these are bad pieces. And I wanted to see if they were straightened. There's viburnum, silky, no, maybe not silky dogwood. There's viburnum in here. There's another type of dogwood that I don't know what it is yet. And then there's alder buckthorn. So it's 2 types of dogwood. No, viburnum, 1 type of dogwood, and then alder, buckthorn. Okay. So I was messing with those earlier. They were really bad to start with. I think there's still some warpage. Yeah, there's still some bend in this one, although it's not too bad. And they're still green, so I don't use any heat on the green ones. They're cold straightened. Yeah, that was kind of wonky. See that? See how wonky that is? No, you can't see. Yeah, it's wonky. It's got this bend in the middle. It was way worse before. Most of these have big old curves, or they used to have big old curves in them. There's a curve. Anyway, I do this periodically to see what I can get out of these to know, what can I harvest or what can I gather from the wild. I'll look at a shoot and I'll go, man, can I do something with that? I hate to just leave it there. I should cut it. No, I shouldn't cut it. Last time I tried straightening it, it was all nasty. But yeah, I should cut it. Wait a second. I don't have time to mess with it. No, I'm not going to cut it. And then I'll walk somewhere else. And then I'll be gathering some stuff in another place. I'll come back. Hey, I missed that one. And I end up cutting it anyway. Because I forget that I just had an argument with myself 30 minutes earlier. Have you used wild rose? Yeah. I only will use wild rose that I get from other people because the stuff that grows here is terrible. Yeah. Let's see. Ed says, need some hankies, Nancy's. Yeah. I have used wild rose for arrow shafts, or maybe one arrow shaft. I shouldn't say plural because I'll try different types of wood whenever I get it. I think I've only made one arrow from wild rose, and it was like almost perfectly parallel shafted. I didn't have to do anything to the shaft at all. And it was, relatively strong. It wasn't like oak or osage strong, but it was, it was good arrow material. Now, stuff we have here, the wild rose and the multifloral rose, is terrible for arrow shafts. What is better for arrow shafts than rose here? I was surprised, but mugwort stems are better than the wild rose stems around here as far as strength goes. I was amazed. Let's see. Ross Wellman says, I got a bunch of red osier dogwood dry and getting ready to straighten them. Yeah, they are a lot of work. But don't let the red osier dry too much. Start cold straightening them while they're green and then keep them bundled and then unbundle them every month or so and cold straighten until they're dry. And then you can use heat. Don't use heat on the arrows until they're dry. But before that, you can cold straighten while they're still green. Yeah. Let's see. Ed says, helps a lot to get them in bunches and wind with string when drying. Yes. I use rubber bands. I cheat. R. Snyder says, Benjamin, the break napping macaw. The beak napping macaw. What does that mean? Let's see. Tommy says, Keith, you beat Ed to the feet tonight. Yeah. Ralph says, anyone face napping? Anyone face napping their sandwiches or their popcorn? Not too much drama on the live stream tonight. It's been pretty tame. Yeah. Somebody, Killer Cork, you're face napping some nerds candy? Mm-hmm. You must be a youngin'. Yeah. Alan says he's going to have some chuck eye shortly. Keith says, Tommy, I'm surprised. I was almost an hour late myself. Jesse says, I face nap some sea bass. Yeah, so you guys are eating fish on Fridays, every Friday. Bison burger, says Buzz. That's good. Good stuff. Alan says, my macaw's name is Benjamin. You named your macaw Benjamin? Tommy says, R. Snyder, I face snapped a cocktail right before live stream. Brennan says, I'm fist napping my son's face. He's dancing around me trying to start trouble. Yeah. Killer Cork. Nope, 41. Just got the munchies. Yeah. Well, still relatively you'll start feeling the effects of sugar. If you're in the 40s, like 41, you'll start feeling the effects and if you haven't already, it's not good. Keith says, I was face snapping a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. Ross Wellman says, just face snapped a pork chop. Yeah, good. Danny Collins says, Patrick, would it be helpful to cut a series of long V channels in a 2x6 and place the fresh cut shaft in the channel with another 2x6 sandwich on top while they dried? Yeah, you can do that. That does help, yes. In case you're wondering. Yeah. You can dry them by making forms in straight channels and then, tightly make sure it's tightly confine them to the channel. Yeah, it does help. But you still got to fine tune them later, but it does help. Yes. Now, without straightening them first, some people said, oh, I'm just going to stick it in there in the straight channel without straightening anything and just clamp it together or whatever, and it should work, right? And they don't even ask. I mean, they don't even wait for the answer because they think it's going to work. If you do it that way, it's not going to work. You have to straighten it first and then stick it in the channel and tighten it down. That way it'll conform better to that straight channel, because even if you tighten it really tight, what happens is it'll spring back to its original shape because you didn't bend the crooked parts past where you need to bend it to be straight. How do I explain this? When you straighten something, you need to overbend it so once it flexes back, it'll flex back much less than before. Okay? So if you stick it in a channel without straightening it, like in a wood channel, and you haven't overstretched it or overbent it, it's going to pop back to much of its original shape. You have to overbend it past the point where it gets straight. Okay? It's not enough to bend it and then see it straight. You have to overbend it, and when it comes back, it's got to be a little unstraight. Okay? So you have to overbend it. And then as you're finishing up the whole shaft, then you can bring it back to straight. Does that make sense? So yeah, it does help to clamp it in a channel that's straight, but it's not going to be as good as hand straightening and then bundling. Keith says, hold that cheeseburger at 56.2 degrees. Yes, yes. While you're face napping, the angle for holding your food is 52.6 or 56.2. Either way, it works. Ed Gould says, I used a pipe to stuff them in. Oh, okay. Buzz says, Jesse, add pepper jack and a dab of honey barbecue sauce. Killer Cork says, I have cut way down on sugar. I actually drink black coffee now. Lost of salad too. Lots of salad. Jesse says, I had a friend get narrow diameter pipe, just barely big enough for them to fit in there, let them dry it, then fine tune, straighten at the end. Yeah, you can do that. But, like I said, the best way to straighten, I think, is to overbend them while you're straightening. Let's see. What was I going to comment? Oh, I saw something here. Oh, salad. You got to be careful with salads. I'm just going to give you what I learned. A lot of green vegetables contain oxalates, which will give you kidney stones if you eat a lot of salad. Okay? Older guys like us need to worry about kidney stones. If you eat a lot of salad, you're risking getting kidney stones because of the oxalates. Okay? And what contains a lot of oxalates? Spinach and really green leafy vegetables. Coffee contains oxalates too. Chocolate does too. So just be aware. My dad went through that kidney stone thing and he didn't learn. Oh, well, what can you do? Mhm. Let's see. Ralph says it's strong coffee if a spoon stands up in the cup. Yeah. Let's see. Mexicans make the best food. Oh yeah. I miss the food from Texas. Yeah. I miss it a lot. Let's see. Face napping half a gummy. Half the gummy? You sure? Or half the bag of gummies? Yeah. Mhm. What am I going to talk about? I was going to talk about something just now. Anyways, um, you said you were going to age the arrow and make it look old. How do you do it? Because I want to fool people. I just try to get creative with how I age different things um, for displays. Okay, not to fool people, but for a display, I usually use stuff that is purchased at the grocery store. Sometimes you can use like paprika spice. It has a little red tint to it. You can make like these little dyes and tints with either mineral oil, or sometimes you can mix it with Elmer's glue or whatever. If you want to darken something or make it look like there's an old type of glue on it, a water-based glue, or if you want to make your own pigments and paints, you can buy spices at the grocery store like paprika and finely ground spices. I'm trying to think of another one. Uh, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but anyway, uh, you can mix that with Elmer's glue or some other type of glue, or Knox gelatin, and make a water-based paint. And anything that was used back in the day to make it look more authentic. But oh yeah, and I use soot a lot um, from candles. You light a candle and you hold a piece of metal or whatever over the top of the candle, and you wait for it to get sooty and black. The soot deposits, and you can just rub your finger on that soot and then rub it on the item wherever you think it might have been exposed to fire or exposed to fingers that were messing around with keeping the fire going or whatever. Let's see. Tommy says black coffee, the only way to go straight from the pot. Only way to go. I see. Keith says Tommy cowboy coffee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Black coffee is the only way to go straight from the pot. Yeah. I drink black coffee now, but I have to dilute it way down so it doesn't give me heartburn. Let's see. Ralph says, yes, I like strong coffee to get wired up. Yeah. Well, I used to be Mr. Coffee for sure. Caffeine is like medicine for me. Alan says, I was wondering why the frisbee kept getting bigger and bigger, but then it hit me. Thanks for the tip, Patrick, says Killer Cork. I had a kidney stone about 10 years ago. Worst pain I was ever in. Yeah. Green leafy vegetables, coffee, and chocolate have oxalates that are bad for the kidneys. So if you're a big chocolate eater or a big salad eater, it's going to catch up to you. Yeah. But my dad was one of those that they got a pill for everything these days, so I don't care. I don't care. I got a pill for everything these days. So he's taking pills like crazy for that stuff. Yeah. He was taking pills up until the day he died. Yes. It doesn't really help you too much when it's too late. Unfortunately. Let me see here. What did I miss? Alan Cole says light travels faster than sound, which is the reason that some people appear bright before you hear them speak. I see what you did there. Ed says, they don't know what cowboy coffee is, I bet. Yeah, most people don't. Let's see. Brandon says, I'm off to bed, fellas. 3 a.m. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, night shift. Night shift dude. He's got to get up at 3 a.m. Bill says, hot peppers take away heartburn. Yeah, I wish. Sometimes it depends. Yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. Killer Cork says, I found out that my Chinese friend sucks at playing baseball when we were playing catch and he caught the ball with his face. Yeah, but what does Chinese have to do with it? Ed goes, see ya. See ya, Ed. I mean, Bren. Yep. Have a good sleep. Not gonna get much sleep before 3 a.m. though. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got 45 minutes left in the live stream. No one asked me about the Knappings, so I think it's a limited audience. Not very many guys go to Knappings apparently. Anyway, let me know if there's an update on this Michigan Flint Nappers stuff. I need to know the summer nap-in date. Yeah. I got a t-shirt from Michigan Flint Nappers, right? Yeah. They gave me a t-shirt way back in the day. This was years ago. I still have it somewhere. Alan says, hot peppers take away my heartburn, but they will give you the ring of fire on the way out. Oh, yeah. Keith says, how about the nap-ins, Patrick? Yeah, I was just talking about the nap-ins. I got my list right here. But I'm not going to Eddie until the summer or fall. I canceled my trip to Texas. I'm not going. So I'm not going to be at the Heart of Texas Nap-In in Brady this year. And it starts, it's already started. It started yesterday. So people arrive early to the Heart of Texas Nap-In. They arrive Thursday, sometimes Wednesday. And yeah, I didn't make it this year. I already spent my savings. Tommy says, I cut way back on my coffee. I would drink at least 2 pots a day. I'm down to about 4 cups. Yeah. I have to take caffeine pills. Yeah. Because caffeine's like medicine for me. But I don't drink any coffee anymore unless it's highly diluted. Like I'll have a big mug like this, and I'll put in maybe a tablespoon of coffee just to give it a hint of that coffee taste. That's as much as I can handle. 1 or 2 tablespoons of coffee from the coffee pot. That's it. Jesse says, I have autoimmune issues, inflammation with the wrong foods. Yeah, I do too. Vegetables considered nightshade veggies make it worse. Yeah, tomatoes and bell peppers, eggplant, etc. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know which ones make me feel the worst. They all have the same weird effect of making me very, very tired. And sometimes swollen joint pain and joint swelling, but it varies. Yeah. I can't figure out which is which. Sal is here? Where is Sal? Where's Blades and Points? I didn't see the comment. Keith says, Sal is at the Nap-In now, I think. Yeah, he's at the Nap-In. Ed Gould says, I saw one video, looked like some good material. Yeah. Sal's got good material. Jesse says, they make a low-acid coffee now, helps beat heartburn issues a lot. Yeah, I saw that. I was about to order that on Amazon today. I said, no, I spent a ton of money on Amazon this month already. And it's not even halfway through the month. Yeah. Ed says, Sal went this morning to the Nap-In. Okay. Ross says, I checked the website. The summer Nap-In is in Ludington, but the date is not set. Right. Yeah, there's no set date. They have a date for the fall for the Michigan Flint Nappers nap in. Tommy says Sal went with a bad tooth problem to the nap in. Yeah, he was talking about his tooth issues. Yeah, I told him he should not be eating them tater chip thin arrowheads. Don't chew on them. You're gonna break your tooth. Ralph says Sal did a video of napping a Marcos point. It was 9-to-1 ratio thin. Yeah, tater chip point. He's making them tater chips now. Dang it. Took me forever before I could do that. Yeah. 5 years, 6 years, maybe, before I could make them as uh as thin as that. 9-to-1. Yeah. It was a struggle for me to get to that for sure. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, I think I contacted everyone I needed to contact in Texas about me not going. It was a sad day when I had to write all those, "I can't make it because I spent all my money, and I gotta try to catch up on my work." Yeah. Likely excuses. Thin is good, but don't roll as good as my marbles. Yeah, Keith, yeah. Let her rip, tater chip, says Alan Cole. Yeah. Yeah, first thing people want to know is how do I get the points really thin? How do I do it? There's got to be a way. Some people get it right away, and some people don't. It's a matter of practice. That's all it is. And believe it or not, it's genetics as well. Yep, just like a sport. Napping is a sport. Yeah, unless you're into it only for the art and you cheat basically to get things napped. It's a sport if you want to um, approach it in a way that looks like they used to do it. Yeah. Danny's got lots of nice slabs up on his site. I got to get some. Yes, go ahead. Definitely do that. Isadore, Izzy's here. Think you will try to make it on the next go round? Yeah, I'm going to be going to the fall nap in. I'm planning on going in Brady, Texas. I'm planning on going at that time. I will let everyone know if I can't ahead of time. But for now, I think I can make it. By that time, I should be in better shape to spend money. Yeah. Mr. Jim's here. I want to go to Brady, but it's a 4-hour drive for me. Oh, no. 4 hours is way too long. You know how long it takes me to get there from Vermont? It's a 30-hour drive. Yeah. And when I include stops, it's 36 hours for me to get to Brady from here. Right? Or 32. I can't remember now if it's 32 or 36 hours. Danny says, Killer Cork, lots more coming next week. Okay, talking about slabs, I guess. Ralph says, the heavy duty point is very thick, but very cool looking. Who's got a heavy duty point? Did I miss something? I probably missed something in the chat. So I'm going to nap some tabular flint. I got to see if I have some left. Alan Cole says, I drive 4 hours to the Buttes. No issues and no tissues. There you go. Killer Cork says, Danny, I'll keep an eye out. Yeah. Ralph says, that's its name. What's its name? Let me see. What is it going on here? I don't get it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Danny says, I would consider anything under 6 hour drive to a nap in close. Yeah. If it takes, see, I can drive up 12 hours in one day. But the first day I drive, it's 6 hours. I try not to drive too much on the first day because I'll fall asleep. So yeah, 6 hours is a good benchmark. Yeah. See, I start dozing off after about 6 hours of driving on the first day when I'm not used to it. So as soon as I start feeling like I'm going to drift off into la la land, sleep land, I stop for the day. Izzy says, "Sweet, I've been wanting to go. I just haven't been able to line it up. Maybe in the fall. Have you ever seen anyone bring Horse Creek to the Nap-In? Horse Creek, yeah, in a slab form, but just plain Horse Creek, nope. But I've seen Horse Creek at Nap-Ins in Tennessee. But you probably don't want to drive that far." Tommy says, "Danny, is your site a Facebook or web page or website? All I find is YouTube videos." Danny's site is, um, let's see if I have his business card. I believe it's flintknappingtraditions.com or Danny Collins Lithics and Leather. But flintknappingtraditions with an S.com is the website. Right? Let me see. It's not, I don't have my, I have a collection of business cards, but I can never remember where I stash them. I think maybe they're here. Doesn't do me any good if I don't remember, right? I got stuff. I try to keep it organized, but I never remember where it is. Let's see if it's in this one. Yeah, right there. Take a screenshot. This is Danny Collins and his website. You can even, if you get a good enough camera, you can scan that barcode or whatever it's called. Okay? No excuses now. Danny works very hard to get his website stocked with everything. Oh, yes. And he supports my channel too, so I can't say nothing bad. Let's see. Buzz says, correct, Flintknapping traditions. Okay, good. Jesse, I've made an awesome toolbox from all my new boppers and flakers. Got a carpenter style tote with the rod that runs across the top. Put plastic storage bin inside, upside down. Nice. Jesse says, use drywall circle cutter and cut various sizes for the boppers to slide into the holes. Interesting. Ed says he'll get there. Yep. Isidore says, do you need any rawhide? I've been working on veg tanning my own leather and have a lot. More than I want to do. Yeah. In fact, I'm trying to make a bunch of rawhide bowstrings. That's one of the things on my to-do list. I bought a groundhog hide just so I can make a bowstring out of that. I've got one deer hide rawhide that I'm going to make a bowstring out of. I just made one bowstring out of deer rawhide that I bought from somebody else. That rawhide wasn't too good because it was inconsistent in thickness. The width was perfect, but the thickness was inconsistent. So the string is a little bit lumpy. I need to make my own rawhide. So yeah, I'm working on rawhide bowstrings at the moment. And I could use some more rawhide, yes. Thank you. Killer Cork says, Jesse, sounds like a great idea. Love to see that. Ralph says, sounds cool. Alan says, unfortunately, rawhide isn't as strong as sinew. No, it's not as strong, so you've got to make more than one. Yeah. I mean, carry more than one with you when you're using a rawhide string bow. More than one string. Ross says, "Well, Danny does a good job." Oh yeah, yeah, Danny does a good job. Got a lot of stuff from his site. Yes, yes. Killer Cork says, "Jesse, do you have a YouTube channel?" That's a good question. I can't remember if Jesse does. I think he does. Isidore says, "I have some Audad and Red Stag. Audad is probably the most consistent." Really? I haven't tried Audad rawhide. So yeah, if you have some extra of that, it doesn't matter what you have. Anything extra, I'll take it. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, because I've not made very many rawhide strings. Mr. Jim is here. Mr. Jim, does heat treating rocks make the knapping process easier for beginners? Oh yes, it changed the whole ball game when I was a beginner. Yeah, it changed the whole ball game. Gnome is here. I haven't seen you before. Have you ever used small animal intestine as string or wrapping? Uh, Not small animal intestine. I have used pig gut for wrapping, and I have not used pig gut for a string because it seemed too weak. But I have used it for wrapping. It works well. The pig gut, like for sausages, you can just buy in the grocery store many times. You can buy the pig gut already processed. It works for wrapping. Yeah. And I have used it for wrapping. Now, I like to cut it before I wrap something with it, because if you wrap it with the if you wrap something with it uh, when it's complete or um, not cut in half, let's say, it's kind of bulky and thick when it dries, so you're not going to get a smooth surface uh, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. So, but a small animal intestine. I've looked at small animal intestines and they're just too small. You can string out the intestine from a small animal and it's not going to be as long as you need for a bowstring. Like for a squirrel or a rabbit, the intestines are not long enough, for one thing. Now, I don't know about other small animals. Yeah, I do know. Squirrel guts make a nice wrap for fletching, says Gnome. Yeah, interesting. Buzz says, good night, Mr. Danny. All right. Danny's leaving. Oh yeah, he says, "Good night, everybody. I've got an early morning. I enjoyed the chat." All right, Danny. We'll see you. See you next time. The next chat's going to be. Let's see, what's this Friday? It's going to be during the auction on Monday. Yeah. Let's see. What did I miss? Ralph says he's surprised. What are you surprised about? What did I miss? Let me look and see. I'm going to click on Jesse's uh, channel. No, I'm gonna have to do that on the phone. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can see my live stream on the phone this time. Last time I couldn't see it, and I'd rather access the live stream from my phone. That way I can. No, that's not it. That way I can comment and stuff and not have to worry about it. But no, I don't. I can't get it on my phone. Sometimes I can get it on my phone. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? It's not giving me any notifications or nothing. Come on. Yeah. I should be notified of my own stream, right? I was one time. Anyway, what did I miss? Mm-mm. Oh, I didn't miss anything. Right. Yeah. Everyone said good night to Danny. I already saw that. Tommy says, in Tennessee, we call pig gut vittles. Pretty good eating, fried or boiled. Oh, yeah. In Texas, we had cow stomach and cow gut. Yeah. I remember eating that. I can't remember what it's called now. Tripas. We had tripas all the time. And the first time that some of the guy, when I was in the National Guard, in the Army National Guard, we did have cookouts on our off time during annual training. Once every year, we go for 2 weeks from annual training. Anyway, the first time that they made some for me, they didn't realize that I had already had all that stuff. They said, "Here, try this." They put lots of jalapeno in it, and I, without me seeing what they did. So I said, "Yeah, this is good. Yeah, what is it? What'd you put in it?" And they looked at me like, "What? What is going on here? This guy is a weirdo, unusual." It was funny, but no, I said, "No, I've had it before. I just not like this. You guys put something else in it, or you're cooking it in a certain way that I haven't had it before." I think what they did was they had some fresh. One of the guys must have had a farm, so they got it fresh, and it tasted much better. Oh yeah. Let's see. I told my girlfriend she drew her eyebrows too high. She seemed surprised. That's a good one, Alan. Buzz says, "Do you see pine pitch on your arrows? Or do you use pine pitch?" No. And you know why I don't use pine pitch? Because it flakes off. Yeah, you hit it a couple times and it starts to flake off, and you get that powdery stuff, and it doesn't stay. Yeah, I don't understand how these guys are using pine pitch to cover their sinew or whatever. Whenever I try it, it starts to flake off, and then I shoot the arrow and I get I get a little puff of pine rosin dust, and I said, "This is not going to work. No, this is ridiculous." Tripe, tripe, yeah. Menudo, I've had menudo before too. That's cow stomach. I can't remember if it's cow stomach or pig stomach. Tripe is cow gut, yeah. Pig guts is chitlins, yeah. Jesse says, I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but gonna make one for my Avo stuff. Okay, so he doesn't have one yet. All righty. Isn't beef tripe used in menudo? Well, no, it's the stomach. I believe it's the beef stomach used in menudo. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see here. Alan Cole says, Hopi Douglas fir resin works better than pine. Your Hope Douglas fir resin works better than pine. Yeah, it might. It These different resins vary. Um, we'll see. I don't know much about the other ones. I've just used a lot of pine rosin. I've tried different mixes, and I've tried using it as a paint base, and I've tried using it as a waterproofing agent and all that. Pine rosin does not work all that well for anything. Mr. Jim says, I've heard about using beeswax instead of pine tar. Yeah. Just remember, Native Americans did not have beeswax until the Europeans came over. Okay. The European honeybee is not native to North America or to any of the Americas. But you can use beeswax, but you have the same problem. You have the flaking off. It flakes off. Okay. It doesn't stay put unless you put a very thin coat and work it in to the wood or whatever. Uh, you can use beeswax on arrow shafts, yeah, but you got to work it in. Pine tar is sticky. It's meant to be sticky, You can rub it in also, and it'll be less sticky, especially if you sprinkle like um, what do they call it? Talc, pure talc, the mineral, not cornstarch, but the talc powder mineral. You can apply that over the top of wax, no, over the top of pine tar, and it'll keep it from being feeling slightly sticky. Now, if you can mix pine tar with pine rosin to make a pine pitch glue, that works pretty good actually. You just got to get the mix right between pine tar and pine rosin. But you can mix those two back together because they were together at one point. Let's see. Pine tar is good for everyone. JF Baird says. Let's see. So a pine tar is different from pine rosin, right? Everybody knows that. Hopefully, everyone knows that pine tar is different from pine rosin. Let's see. Keith, that must be a dire wolf instead of a hound's. 10 more likes that viewers now. Okay. Yeah. 10 more likes than viewers. That means people have come and gone. Yeah. Jesse says, I crush up charcoal and mix it with the tree resin. Holds together pretty good. Yeah. I like to use uh, pure talc with any kind of resin that I use instead of ground up charcoal because I don't have to grind it up. The talc powder is already ground up. And you can use rock dust also. Pine tar is good for fires, says JF Baird. Yeah, it is. Keith says, Tommy, yeah, let's see. What are you laughing at? Oh, yeah, the likes. Izzy says, maybe there is a different resin that would work, like honey locust. Yeah, it's possible. I haven't tried honey locust resin. I'm assuming you're talking about applying it to arrows. If I want to waterproof this with something that they had available back in the day, what Native Americans would have available to them back in the day, I would have to probably use let's see, a very stiff tallow. Okay. I think deer tallow is pretty stiff when it hardens. But different. Now, tallow is different from the fat on the body of the deer. The tallow is from the fat around the kidneys or near the kidneys of an animal. Cow, pig, deer, whatever. The suet or the tallow is what I would probably use that they might have had available back in the day. Or you use something like the beaver gland oil. That has some waterproofing agent or properties. Or you can use duck fat, something like that. But they had no beeswax or any kind of wax back in the day, unless you count maybe the wax off the reed itself. I've gotten wax off reeds by heating the reed and then taking a piece of buckskin and just wiping the hot reed with the buckskin, and the wax comes off in the buckskin. And then you warm up the buckskin over the fire and the wax softens up and you can rub something else with it. And it does put a thin coat, not a small, a thin coat of wax on whenever you rub that on. But it takes a while to get enough wax into the buckskin to deposit onto something else, but it does work. Let's see. Buzz says, yes, Jesse, charcoal, wood powder. Yeah. Alan says, Douglas fir resin is very sticky. Vegetable oil or animal fat works the best to get it off your skin. Yeah, that is true. Noam says, I have no personal experience with it, but birch tar is historical for hafting. Yes, it is. I have some experience with it. I've made it. I've made like 3 or 4 different batches. It depends on how much you heat it and how old the birch bark is, and various other factors. Um, it comes out inconsistent, uh, depending on the moisture content, the age of the bark, and the amount of time that you heat it. But yeah, it was used in Europe for literally thousands of years. And how they used to get it, I don't know, but you need fire in order to uh, do the destructive distillation to get the birch tar. So you need some sort of fire technique to get the birch tar. Fat wood is pine fire. Yeah, fire starter. Oh, yes. Jesse says, "Hey, Pat, we can put our powdered points in our tree resin glues." Yeah. Yeah. Powder your points down and put them in the glue resin. Yeah. Mr. Jim says, "Is there much difference in points found in North America versus Europe versus Africa?" Um, Depends on the time period, but no, there's not much difference. The biggest differences I see is there's a lot of notching going on in North America and South America. But in the Americas, there's a lot more notching going on than anywhere else. Yeah. And the fluting, I don't see much fluting anywhere except in the Americas. Ralph says, "Yes, Gnome birch tar is what Will Lord uses for hafting." Yeah, it's good stuff. Black hot melt glue will work, says Ed Gould. Yeah, you're cheating with black hot melt glue, but that works. Jeff Jin, napping is a blood sport, especially if you nap obsidian. Oh, yes. Jesse says, "A lot of the African Neolithic European Neolithic points look very similar. The North American points seem to have different styles." Yeah. Of course, they shared technology back in the day in Europe and in North Africa and the Middle East. All those areas, they shared technology. Ralph Snyder says, "Baling wire duct tape works good for hafting." Alan Cole says, "Jeff, yes, always send Patrick band-aids in the box." Yeah. Jordan says, "I actually watched Bloodsport today with JCVD." Hmm. Have I seen that one? I don't know if I've seen that movie. Mm-hmm. Anyways, we talked about movies a lot last time, didn't we? And I have not watched a single movie since last time. I got recommendations and I have not watched a single one. Yeah, I get caught watching YouTube videos. I get wrapped up in watching YouTube videos, and that's it. Sorry, I had to take a drink there before I lose my voice. We've got like 13 minutes left in the live stream. Yeah, we still got lots of viewers. Awesome. So yeah, we can talk about hafting and stuff. Everybody knows, right? Let me know. Does someone not know that beeswax was not available to Native Americans before the Europeans came over? Does somebody not know that? "I didn't know beeswax was not available. I didn't know it. How is that possible?" Yeah, let me know. Mhm. Let's see. Alan Cole says, "Two fish are in a tank. One says, 'How do you drive this thing?'" Oh, yeah, that's cool. I see what you did there. Ralph says, "You forgot the JB weld." Yeah, JB weld works for hafting for sure. If all else fails, use JB weld. It works good. Izzy says, "If you have green logs with open ends, you can cook the resin out if it burns as it burns. I've seen it happen burning mesquite. Maybe that could be a start." Scarring the bark also brings the resin out to collect. Yeah. But birch tar is gathered from the birch bark, and you do destructive distillation to get the tar out of the birch bark. Now, you might be able to burn one end of the birch bark, and as it burns, you might get some tar out the other end, but I doubt it. Every time I burn birch bark, it burns all the tar and everything with it. So you've got to contain it in such a way that the fire is outside of the bark, which means you either have to bury the bark in the ground and collect the tar in a hole in the ground somehow and build a fire up on top of the bark so it's not touching it, with a layer of dirt or something. Just like heat treating stones, maybe you can heat treat the bark that way and then collect it in a hole in the ground. But then it'll be mixed with dirt. But maybe that's what they did. I don't know. But yeah, you need this what they call destructive distillation to get the tar out of the birch bark. I have seen the resin and stuff come out of green wood as it's being burned. Yes, but that doesn't work for all kinds of stuff. Doesn't work for everything. Ralph says, I just picked up some hot melt glue in black. Good. Yeah. And it contains asphaltum or bitumen, as they call it. Or it contains, there's another name for it. Can't remember. I can see the name, but I can't put the spotlight on it. But it's a mineral. They mine it as a mineral, but it has the same properties as asphaltum when you melt it down. Something light, something ite. Um, Tommy says, Ed, I worked on my electric fence today, and it didn't wind up face first. I didn't wind up face first on the ground. We were talking about electric fence last time. Yeah. Alan says, build a man a fire, and he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire, and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Don't do it. Anthony, St. Patrick just wanted to say you're a star. Well, thank you very much. I don't feel like a star, but thanks anyway. Thank you very much. Jesse says, YouTube is my TV as well. I love the documentary series on Ancient Man. Yeah, I get watching documentaries and stuff like that, and I'd never watch a movie. Izzy says, gotcha. Leaching could work or a decoction. Yeah. Ed says, good luck, Tommy. Anthony says, good news. No obsidian in the eyes since last time. Awesome. Mr. Jim says, Apis mellifera, European honeybee, is not native to the Americas. However, there are several native species of bumblebees that do produce wax. Yeah, but it's not the same. Yeah, I've looked that up. It's not the same kind of wax. Jim says, looks like I got in here just in time to say goodnight. Yeah, Jim, you've got 8 minutes. So, yeah, plenty of time to comment in 8 minutes. If you have questions you want to argue with me about, I usually give Jim a hard time. It's my fault. Jordan says 57 likes and 42 views. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, the likes are getting good. Ralph says, I also forgot the Earth, Wind, and Fire album and a circus clown named Ron. Okay, I don't understand what that means. I don't even want to know. Buckskin NYB says the Knife River Flint is in the roaster. Thanks for the advice. I will let you know how it turns out. Okay, good. Yeah. Turkey roaster. Make sure you have a temperature gauge inserted into the turkey roaster so you don't heat the rocks too hot. Let's see. Anthony Mummert says, okay, if you want to argue water is not wet. Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue at that level. Yeah. Well, let's argue about something that's on a different level than that one. Yeah. But you can tell who's been online for a long time because they'll regurgitate stuff that they've heard online. And I've been on forums and I've been online for a long time. I've heard a lot of stuff. Seen a lot of stuff. I've met a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions. Yeah, so I can tell when someone's been on the internet for a long time. That's what they do. They're interested in the topic. They read as much as they can about it, and then they start regurgitating what they seen and heard without actually participating in the actual activities. Yeah. Let's see. Jim says, I know what wanted to argue about the angle. It's actually 52.7. How do I know? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I stand corrected. I'm off by point one. Yes, yes. Ralph says they may get the birch tar the same way they make char cloth. Yeah, well, char cloth, you keep the actual char. You don't worry about what it distills or what comes off of the char. It's a little bit different. You can make charcoal from birch bark, that kind of thing. Yeah, but no, destructive distillation means you collect the liquids that come off the charcoal, so to speak. Alan says, I was riding a donkey the other day when someone threw a rock at me and I fell off. I guess I was stoned off my ass. I'm surprised you managed to put that whole joke in a comment because these comments seem to be limited in size. YouTube is limiting the size of the comments. That was a good one. Laurel Stoneman, Iceman Uchi DNA shows lactose intolerant. Oh yes, he was not from the correct part of Europe to get lactose tolerance. Yeah. He was from Southern Europe, apparently, and not Northern Europe. Northern Europeans are more lactose tolerant. Ed says, off to get a screwdriver. See you Monday. Yep, we'll see you Monday on the live stream. That's the next one. Monday's live stream is 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. And it's during the auction. Well, during when the auction video is posted. And you comment in the auction video comment section and you bid there. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern time, I declare who's the winner. Sometimes it's easy to declare winners, and sometimes it takes me forever because it's not easy. YouTube is not really set up for these kinds of things, but I do my auction on YouTube, uh, and it's not something that's never been done before. And also, they used to do it a lot on Twitter. I don't know if they still do it on Twitter, but it works well enough for what I'm doing. I offer some items every week. I wish I could offer more. But yeah, I offer as many as I can per week that people bid on, and then I declare the winners at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then I send them out the next day. Yeah, after we make payment arrangements and all that by email. Let's see. Jim Cooper says you need some googly. You need some googly eyes when you do your rock puppets. Yes, I am going to do some rock puppets. Yeah, I said that right. I got to make sure I don't miss. There's yeah, googly eyes. I got to put some stuff on my list. Start working on that stuff. Yeah, because I want to incorporate more humor into the channel. Yes, yes. Because believe it or not, sometimes I get burnt out. Yep, yep. Mm. I need some more humor. I need something to break up the monotony. Rip the side of rack clear off the truck, says Ed. What'd you do? What'd you do? Anthony says, I'm currently working on building some lateral darts and points for those darts. And it's a lot harder than I thought. Yeah, it gets to be pretty hard once you start integrating everything together. Alan says, everyone tune in tomorrow for Patrick's unboxing. Maybe he'll do a rock to point. Yeah, I will do the unboxing of Alan's gift box he just sent, or I just got it. Jesse says the rock puppets was classic. Your riff, you're right about have had googly eyes and used as a video thumbnail. Yeah. Don't worry. I'll think of something. Pet Rock version 2.0. Yes, yes. Jesse is excited to see what Alan sent. Oh, yeah, I am too. I have not opened the box yet. Ross says, good night, all. Got to check my turkey roaster full of Texas chert. Yeah. Tommy says, ask for corn just in time. Where's ask for corn? Oh, there he is. I'm late again. Yeah, you got 1 minute. Where when you arrived, you only had 3 minutes. Ask for corn. Finally made it. Jordan says, do you think the ancient nappers would get pissed when they broke a big blade? Oh yes. Burn down the teepee, maybe? I don't know. It's taboo to burn down the teepee because then you'll have your wife or wherever your family will be extremely mad at you for life. Yes. Ralph says, saw your channel, AF Corn. Yeah, he's got a channel. Ask for Corn has a channel. Anthony says, the way that you talk to yourself as if you're different people in the room or somebody that's talking back to you is so hilarious. That's part of the reason why I listen to you and watch your videos. Okay, good. I'm glad it's funny to someone besides me. I try to entertain myself by using different voices and stuff, and sometimes topics that I've heard before in the past, and sometimes it's related to conversations that I've had with my kids and stuff. Yeah, so I'm glad someone else thinks it's funny. As for Corn says, Scott, if you're here, I will have that short with that heat treated bull gravel posted for you. That'd be interesting to see. All right, it's 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to stop the live stream here as soon as I finish reading all the chats. Jesse says, Anthony, agree. The third party voice Pat does is hilarious. Ask for Corn says, Keith Ricketts, that's what she said. Alan says, good night, everybody. All right, good night, good night. Charles Rooker, Patrick has done videos since Moby Dick was a minnow. Yeah, I've been doing this for 11 years. Or no, since 2011, so 14 years. Man, Ask for Corn says, then she said, now get off me. You're sweating. Remember, family friendly. Let's see. Jim says, night, guys. Good night, Jim. Bill Taylor says, just got back in time to say goodbye. Listen to you guys again next Monday during the auction, hopefully. Yep. Be there, be square. Ralph says, I like the third party voice. Well, good. I will do more of it. Yeah. I'm thinking of doing all my videos now in two formats, one with no talk and one with the narration or a voiceover, so that we get both. Ask for Corn. You say goodbye, I say hello. Yeah. Scott Lauer, ask for Corn. I'll check it out, man. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Isidore says, off to the napping shed. Y'all have a good night. Yep, you too. Night, everybody. Jim Main says, good night. All right, we'll see you next time. I'm going to end the live stream. It's been fun. I like doing these. I do live streams 3 times a week. Fridays from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, and Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I do videos randomly throughout the week. Other than that. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Good night.